Hello and welcome to the Australian Inventors Laser Lab. So first video, and there she is. I know you can only see just the corner of it there. What I'll do for this first video is give you a general overview of the machine, the supporting equipment with it, and we'll have a look inside it, around it, and we'll have a look at some of the programs that you'll need to operate the laser, the controller actually on the laser, and we'll take a first few cuts and have a look at the level of power required and what sort of a job it does. Well, there she is. Pacific Tooling 6090 laser. These machines can run on anything from XP up. I'm running Windows 10 with a Hewlett & Packard, fairly new Hewlett & Packard laptop. And laptops are quite safe to use with these machines, providing you turn off the sleep mode. I've got a second screen here which I use to, or will be using to video off, which is easier than viewing off this screen because I'll be getting my head in the way. Anyway, this is 100 watt a laser. I'll go into that in more detail in a minute. Notice there's a decent light inside, which gives you a sort of a commanding view of what's going on. The mirror system is up-to-date, ultra-modern system. There's linear guide rails and reduction gears on the axis motors. This will operate up to 500 millimeters a second cutting speed or operational speed in the X, and 400 in the Y, because obviously there's some weight or mass in the gantry, so this would have to accelerate it up and stop it in its process of machining, and well, not machining but cutting or engraving. And so the motor, traction motors or stepper motors, need to accelerate the weight of this up and then slow it down and then change direction very quickly. So we limit that to 400 on the y-axis and 500 because there's very little mass here. Mass being weight to accelerate up and then de-accelerate. What else can I show you? So it's fairly open in here, and oh yes, these panels here, there's a panel here, I'll take you around to the back quickly. Also this panel at the back here, they unlock, come out, so if you wish you can put a front door in here and carve, 3D carve, or sort of do a motif on it, anything that a laser can do. So you can put anything as big as a door in here. This is 900 by 600 operational area. Everything's in millimeters. At the same token, if you wish to, there's a panel here that you can take out, and a corresponding panel here that you can stick or slide something through here long ways. Then if you have a long plank or something like that you can actually fit in and machine away. Obviously it's governed to about 3 inches thickness of material that you can get in there. You've got to draw the line somewhere when you're designing these machines. So there it is. I'll just walk around the back and show you the laser. Right, before we walk around the rest of the machine, I won't actually turn it on at the moment. I'll just show you some of the controls. This is the standard controller. Now this operates solely on its own. It will totally operate the laser. You can sort of put together a piece of work in your computer, put it on a flash drive, and the flash drive goes in here, which then loads it into the memory of this, and you can run it, you can alter it, the percentage of feed and strength of the laser in percentage, and so you can alter the program after you've written it, and you do total control from here. But I tend to use this program, which is Laser Cut 6.1. This is freely available on the internet. You just go into their website and download it, and it's free for you to use. Now you can jog around using these controls the same as you would in Mach 3, and start and stop the program, the laser, and you can use this as a CAD system as well, and draw anything on here, put anything together, and it will write the G code. There's a second program which is also freely available, which I personally favor, and this is RDWorks. RDWorks is, I suppose, a little bit more professional. It's got more tools that you can use, and there's more settings that you can use with it. So I shall be using both of these programs and showing you guys how to do it as well. So now we'll move around the machine. I don't think it's worth me opening that door. I've done some stills of inside there. That's just the drivers in there and what have you. One thing I will mention, this is depicting here. This 100-watt machine operates up to 35,000 volts. You never open this end and go anywhere near this. I hope you can see that in there. This is the end of the laser. This is the hot end, as in electrically. You get a shock off this, it could kill you outright. This is why we have put a separate covering, separate boxed unit here, to remind you that you don't go anywhere near this end when it is operating. Oh, this is the chiller. Now, I've had people say to me, oh, why didn't you get a 5,000 chiller, this, that and the other? Well, our engineers have done experimentation up to 40 degrees Celsius in China of, should we say, ambient temperature, and this is quite adequate to keep the laser cool. In behind there as well, you'll see the little blower compressor. Now that feeds air into the nozzle of the, through here, into the nozzle of the laser. We'll go into more detail about that later. Now then, this is the most important item. This is an active charcoal filter. It does a number of jobs. This unit here is the most important unit of the whole system. If you buy a laser, you must buy one of these. This is an active charcoal filter. There are 4 sets of filters in here. One of them is active charcoal. Why do you need this? 2 reasons. A laser operates at upwards of 5,000 degrees C. That is the temperature of the actual pinpoint or hair of light that comes out of the end of that nozzle to cut or etch or engrave material. It evaporates the material that it comes into contact with. That means it turns it to gas. If you don't have a filtration system and you breathe that in, there's a high possibility that you will get cancer. Be warned. It's a fact. It's a proven fact. Lasers, these lasers, are not a toy. It is an absolute requirement that you have, if you buy a laser, that you buy one of these. I can't force you to, but I think you can tell by the tone of my voice that it is absolutely necessary. If you are cutting or etching materials like ply or MDF or plastic, when these substances are turned to gas, the fumes are highly toxic to human. So be warned. Okay, so driving this unit, all right, is the extraction unit, and if I can, it's not plastic, it's metal. Don't get a plastic one. This comes with the machine. It's metal. Now then, the laser. Now this is my personal laser, so it doesn't have any interlocks on it. Now this is a 100-watt tube. Now, some of you will notice there's a bit of paper in there. Well, it's there for a good reason. If you look into the center of the tube, you will see that there is a pinkish color. This is the signs of a top grade laser tube. That pinkness inside the laser tube is a flashing of gold. That gold is a catalyst which, shall we say, preserves the life of the laser, because when a laser is made and people start to use it, it is dying. It has a lifespan. The lifespan of this particular laser from Recce is 10,000 hours. Now then, here we go. I'm going to explain now about the output of lasers. If you notice here, it says power output, right, of 100 watts. It will sustain 100 watts without injury. I'll talk to you more about that in the future. Peak power output on test 119 watts. Now then, this is a very, very good make. It is the best make in out of China and really around the world. It's a very respected name, Recce. This tube is nearly $1,000 worth. It is the heart of the machine. So we in Pacific Tools chose the best that we could. while we're on the subject of laser tubes themselves, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there have come to the realization that when you buy a machine from eBay or anywhere else and you have it delivered, you replace that tube in 6 months or less. Now, when you buy a machine, unfortunately, should we say, it's 95% of the machines sold on eBay, they're oversold. And what I mean by that is they might be advertised as a 60 or an 80 watt laser. If you notice, the peak output says 119 on this. You can't run this laser tube at 119 watts because you will kill the tube. Because what you are doing is what they call overdriving the tube. And a lot of the manufacturers, as I was just saying, they sell their machines on the peak output of the tube. So if you buy a machine with a 60 watt tube in, it may, when it was new, produce 60 watts peak output, but in fact it's an actual, it's a 45 or 46 watt tube. So a lot of the guys, they start using their laser machine and they run it at 100% output and they're killing their tube. That's why it doesn't last even 6 months. And the reason for that is the gas. There's many different gases inside here. They call it a CO2 gas laser, but in fact there's other gases in there. And what happens is that if you operate at a very, very high output, higher than its maximum normal output, what happens with the CO2 gas is it breaks down into its separate elements, carbon and oxygen, and it doesn't recombine. Now, that is what the gold catalyst is for inside the center of this tube. That catalyst helps the oxygen and carbon recombine to CO2 to prolong the life of the tube. But still, you cannot run this tube at 119 watts. Now, we will go into more detail about the percentage output versus the actual output of these tubes in a later video. May touch on it later on in this video, but it is not a linear scale. Okay, what I also want to point out to you is that this laser is mounted on a very solid chassis. This is made of 16 gauge steel and it's formed steel as well. So this tube and laser, when the laser head over the other side there is going back and forth and dancing around, is not vibrating this tube around, causing the beam to actually move around on the mirrors here, which then give a large loss of power down at the cutting face. So you won't see this on any other machines of this nature. In addition, if I just bring the camera around, you will see inside here, this is also a chassis member here and here, which goes in with the chassis member back there and across the front here, and then this big heavy box section aluminium which holds the gantry. This is a very, very solid machine. You'll notice that this machine is provided with a key. There's a very good reason for this. Not only when the machine is operating, it gives off highly toxic fumes. If a unsuspected person, a little person, decided to switch this on and push some buttons and they had their hand in here, they're gonna come out with no fingers. So this is a real essential safety feature. When you finish with the machine, turn it off, take the key out. That's it. Stop, emergency stop. Obviously, don't hesitate to use this when you have an emergency situation. And I always put it in the stop position, the e-stop position, when I'm not using the machine anyway. Just turn and it pops back out. Now to start the machine up, we'll turn it on, you'll hear an alarm, and then the carriage gantry will go over and it will set its home position, exactly the same as CNC router. So here we go. And you'll also notice that the extraction system is operating now, and it's very, very quiet. So the second job, really, of the filtration unit is the silencer. So I can talk to you as well with the filtration system running. You'll also hear a buzzing. Well, that actually is the little compressor pump that's delivering air to the nozzle. Incidentally, do not start this machine up if you're connected to a computer. Don't start the machine up unless the computer's up and the program's running. If you don't have a computer connected to it, it is fine to start the machine. That might sound a little contradictory, but that's how it works. Right, so I hope you can see on one of the screens here. If not, I'll take close-ups later on. But you just use the cursor here, and you can jog the head around. It's very, very controllable. Move small amounts, large amounts. And if you just press the datum in the middle, I don't know whether you can see on that screen up there or this one here, it will reset go to its home position. Now, what I suggest you do with this machine, although it is provided with a honeycomb, it also has the knives underneath. I'll just lift this up and show you. It also has a set of knives that you can take out and reposition wherever you wish. That just sits in there loosely. I'll just actually show you the underside down here next. Okay, so these are the stepper motors which raise and lower the table, and interestingly what we have here is a catchment area or catchment drawer for any small particles that the laser cuts and falls through into the hopper affair in here. So it'll fall into that drawer and it's caught. So it's advisable, if you know, every night, is to pull that drawer out and empty it so you don't have any fires, because we are dealing here with extreme heat, and if you have a buildup of debris in the bottom, you know, it can catch fire. So simply to raise and lower the bed is a very simple affair. You just simply press the Z. Now we've set this at quite a slow speed, so you have ample time when you are judging the height above or below the nozzle rather. You have ample time, and it's very, or should we say, highly adjustable. Which brings me to an interesting thing. Now, this is my own preference. Now, this is aluminium, but it's up on end. Aluminium is very, very reflective. Aluminium is very, very reflective to laser. Now, you can't see the laser. This is an industrial CO2 laser. You cannot see the laser beam, not with your naked eye. It is in the infrared range, which your eye cannot see, but aluminium will reflect it highly, better than 98%, I believe. So these machines that are sold with a flat aluminium plate with just slots in, similar to this here, don't go anywhere near them. It's highly, highly dangerous. This is anodized, it's up on its edge, and it's a knife edge point. It doesn't reflect. Now then, what I do is I get a mild steel plate and put on here. This is my preference. Now, mild steel is not very reflective for infrared. As soon as the laser hits this, it's absorbed into the material, mostly. So there's no harmful reflection. These are actually magnetic. They're standoffs actually, and what I do is I put material on this to keep it up off the surface, because what you'll find if you cut directly on the honeycomb, especially if it is if you're cutting out letters for a sign or something like that, you'll find that there's little tiny reflection marks. Well, not reflection marks exactly, but there's little tiny marks that appear on the very back, and it gives you extra work to get rid of them. So if you hold the sheet up, suspend it over something like this, all that goes away, and it gives you less finishing work to do.